may officially be in April, but we're still in March Madness for those of you who are sports fans. But we've seen a growing interest in women's basketball through this whole time of March. And at a time when female sports are being infiltrated and quite frankly upended by gender-confused men. And while some on the left are certainly coming to their senses on this issue, there are still many who are absolutely fine with not only subverting female sports, but also putting women and girls in harm's way. Well, here to discuss this and to make her debut here on this program is Washington Watch News reporter Victoria Marshall. Victoria, welcome to Washington Watch. Great to have you.
Thank you for having me, Jody.
Well, it is our honor indeed. All right, let's get started on this whole thing. Wisconsin governor, a Democrat governor, I might add, Tony Evers, vetoed a bill that came to his desk this past week, and it was a bill that was aimed at protecting women's sports, would have prohibited biological males from competing alongside females. Tell us a little bit about this bill, specifically what it would have done, what it would have accomplished.
Yeah, I mean, simply, it was meant to protect female athletes in Wisconsin playing sports in their high schools, plain and simple. It basically was, these women are being forced to compete against biological men in their schools, and so it's trying to protect them and allow them to have fair competition, as well as protect their own bodily safety, because there's been multiple instances across the country of female athletes being injured at the hands of transgender identifying men who say that they're women, and so they get to play in these female sports. So it was just to protect these female athletes at the high school level in Wisconsin.
Yeah, it just sounds to me, Victoria, like this is nothing but common sense. Why in the world would the governor not sign this? Did he give any excuses why he vetoed it?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. He basically said he wasn't going to sign the bill because it was anti-gay, it was discriminatory, it would harm the safety of the LGBTQ community, high school community in Wisconsin, and that it would harm their mental health. Of course, him not signing the bill means that he's jeopardizing the safety of female athletes who now have to compete with biological men and who will also harass and intimidate them physically, as well as can sexually harass them or sexually abuse them by being in female lockers. And also, I think it's really ironic that Evers said that he wants to save the mental health of these LGBTQ individuals, when actually, the last time I checked, affirming delusions about reality or identity actually harms one's mental health. You see it in study after study. The Epoch Times just reported that transgender identifying individuals who have gone through gender realignment surgeries, which means, changing their genitals to another gender, so mutilating their bodies, their rate of suicide doubles after they go through with those surgeries. So what that means is that affirming delusions, an individual's delusions about reality, hurts their mental health. So this bill is not going to help the LGBTQ community in Wisconsin, and it's certainly not going to help female athletes.
A great point, and frankly, very difficult to argue with that. And yet, we continue to see, it seems like now, week after week after week, we're seeing another example of a female athlete being injured by a biological male. In fact, just in Massachusetts recently, there was another incident of a high school basketball girl player being injured by a biological male. And yet the governor there continues to support these policies. Why is that?
It's really just the culture of, it's just the PC culture where we're just supposed to affirm everyone. Affirm their delusions about identity, about what actually leads to human flourishing, and it's about affirming the delusions of protected classes of people. But it actually doesn't help them; it hurts them when you when you affirm their delusions about their own identity. And also with that incident with the Massachusetts boy harming some females that he was playing basketball with in the women's division in his high school, he actually it was also reported that he was spying on his also his female colleagues in the locker rooms and making lewd comments about them. So he was actually sexually harassing his teammates and players. So this isn't just, affirming these poor LGBT gay folks. It's actually you're helping them sexually harass women. It's horrible.
Wow. And, unfortunately, this is not just happening in the United States. We're seeing this type of thing. And we're seeing some countries come to their senses, but we're seeing others that are experiencing similar issues that we're doing here in the United States. But there's a lot of public consensus against men competing in women's sports. I think it's pretty well grounded. How do we translate all this into action? Final question for you. What do we need to do to help protect women?
I would just encourage people to talk to their friends and family about this issue, to shift the Overton window in favor of common sense. A lot of people are afraid about speaking out about that men are men and women are women because of just the culture and how hostile the culture has been to common sense. But these are our daughters, these are our wives, these are our sisters, and I'd really encourage, you to get involved with local school board races, local government, to make your voice heard and to stand up for what is right.
Thank you so much, Victoria Marshall. Great to have you on
Thank you.
Washington Watch.